Three, two, one. I guess I already started recording before I did that countdown. Oh well. Hello and welcome back to the Phil Elverum Discog breakdown. We've got a little bit of a special episode today. Of course, talking about the new microphones announcement, which was a surprise. With me, as always, Jake.
Yes, hello. It is me, Jake.
And,
Feel the need to address. We have not recorded one of these since I want to say late February, and nothing has changed since then. The world is totally the same normal that it was at the end of February, the last time we recorded one of these podcasts.
Yeah, it's crazy how there's been so little context and that, we stopped for literally no reason.
No reason at all. Nothing strange has happened.
Yeah, perfectly normal one. And I'm sure we'll continue to have a normal one and, put out episodes regularly from here.
Everything's normal and fine. That's,
yes. Okay, but actually, like part of this, we were gonna start once we both finished school. And then we finished school and the protests started happening and stuff, and the Indieheads podcast has just not felt very important.
Yeah, which is fair.
And I don't know. It would definitely be good for me to start doing these again. Just like a healthy use of my energy, But
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I've been very focused on like trying to educate myself and do what I can and stuff, and I'm gonna keep trying to do that. So I don't really want to promise any kind of regular output, but I'd definitely be willing to start after this.
Yeah, we'll slowly start coming back into the fold, I
Yeah.
think. But it's interesting because today was this podcast was not really planned whatsoever. It kind of is sort of a last minute, spur of the moment thing, given the new microphones news that Alex alluded to earlier.
Yes.
Microphones in 2020.
Yes, truly the only reason we would be doing this podcast right now. Just
The
impromptu.
only thing that could bring us to the computer.
Yeah, like even if this had just been a new new Mount Erie album, I mean, it like I feel like we wouldn't really be talking right now. But it's not a new Mount Erie album, is it?
No, yeah, there's definitely a lot of like I don't know, I guess subtext here with the microphones, like what does it mean? Why is he releasing this under the microphones instead of Mount Erie? There's just like a lot more to unpack than just your standard kind of album announcement.
And a lot to speculate about too. Which is probably, fair warning, most of what we'll be doing today.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've seen him like he played a couple microphone shows in 2019, I think. I know he did that like small festival in Washington. I thought he did a different one, or at least for some reason on I don't know, in Songkick, the app that helps organize like I don't know, helps you organize your concert attendance, which lately has just been telling me that, X concert I paid money for has been postponed again.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a Mount Erie show that that was supposed to happen in Maine that says Mount Erie and the microphones instead of just Mount Erie, which I thought was interesting. I'm sure he's been working on this for
right.
a little bit now.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we were sort of speculating on this a while ago when Lost Wisdom 2 came out, because just kind of, if you're comparing how Lost Wisdom 1 was conceived and recorded, it was kind of happens fast. usually, I think the first one, I don't know, but the second one was just like one recording session. He like wrote the songs all like during that week. So it makes sense that throughout the rest of the time surrounding that, there would be some other sort of like recording project happening.
Right. Yeah. That's that's a good point that I actually hadn't really thought about. I don't think, or at least not since we talked
Yeah.
about this last. Yeah, it's very possible he's been working on it. I wonder if he's been working on it since he did that microphone show in Washington.
Well, yeah, there was that tour poster that he also, before COVID had released, like the Fairy in the Snow or something like that.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and he was saying that he wasn't going to be performing Mount Erie material. Um, I think,
He said that he didn't want to perform the death songs anymore, which
right,
kind
right.
of, made it like forced those shows to be either, really old material or new material.
Yeah, so it
Um,
seems like this is probably what that was going to be to some extent, or at least part of what that was going to be.
either an extension of or an evolution of, or I mean theoretically he could have written this in the past week.
That's true. This is really all speculation. That is 100%
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I think it's interesting that the album is called Microphones in 2020. That's
Yeah,
it. Clearly, the use of the microphones moniker is part of the piece of art here, like part of the work. Um,
which is interesting because I mean Phil has said in the past that the names like really are sort of meaningless to an extent where it's like nothing is really changing between the microphones in Mount Erie. I guess Mount Erie just seemed more like evocative of the work he was doing at that time.
yeah,
But yeah, it is interesting then to think about like what the actual purpose of um, going back to the microphones is, which he has done before. Like he released that like single in like the mid 2000s or something that was under the
yes.
microphones. But
And at the time, or he's said since then that it was sort of just him trolling a little bit, but I
well,
don't
right.
that does not I don't think that's what this is.
No, I don't think so either. This definitely seems meaningful.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe he's trying to re-explore some of the stuff that kind of defined the microphones body of work. He released that little like minute and a half snippet, like or the microphones in 2020 teaser, and it's
Yeah.
kind of in the teaser he's like shuffling through like old photographs, basically of what it seems like
Yeah,
him
some
during the
of which were
microphones.
used in like sorry.
No,
Sorry.
I
You
was
you
done.
finish that thought. You're done.
No,
Okay.
yeah,
So some of those pictures I noticed he's used in the past. I think I know some of them were in the like Dawn packaging, the original one with the book and the CD,
yeah.
and like I don't know others in liner notes, or maybe there was even something from Dust in there. I don't know. But
Okay.
and sonically the clip that was used in that, or the audio clip that was used in that video clip was more evocative of what he was doing when he was the microphones than
Yeah,
more recent Mount Erie works or even older Mount Erie works, like
I
very
agree with that.
very lo-fi in a way,
Hmm.
noisy.
Noisy, fuzzy, love. Yeah, it's got that kind of just like
Yeah,
droning electric guitar.
kind of
Yeah.
ramshackle.
Hmm.
um so there's a piece of writing on the front cover that is actually partly cut off. It seems
Yeah.
we can only read half of it, but we did read it. Uh, I'm sure most images you can find of this cover, you can't zoom in close enough, but
Yeah.
we were able to read it, and it's basically it kind of sums down to a meditation on the like process he went through moving from microphones to Mount Erie, and some of also, kind of tied into, some of his like central themes as an artist too. It's really interesting. At first we were speculating that it could be lyrics. Now we aren't so sure.
Yeah, I was mentioning this earlier. It is very, if it is lyrics, very self-referential, like talking about the album itself and like what it means and kind of like what he was doing and like how he approached making music
Yeah.
during when he was the microphones. Um, so maybe it is like a sort of like narrative type song, and that's the thing with Phil's music. Like it really could go either way. Like anything that he could do lyrically, um, I guess wouldn't really surprise me. Like this could be lyrics, and I like
Yeah.
could see it with him.
Especially considering the fact that, this is all one song. We can presume that it's like 40 plus minutes long since it's it's a double LP.
I think it says 44:44 is the total runtime. One
Okay.
song.
Wow. Where'd you see that?
It's on the on his Twitter. He tweeted like a little, I don't know what you'd call it, kind of like a pre-album
Okay.
memoir type thing, and it says new full album, one song, 44:44 runtime, but it's like
Okay.
a double LP.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, because a 44-minute song is just kind of an inherently strange thing. Like, what does that mean? I can't really like it's a 44-minute song, but I mean, obviously, there's an entire album's worth of ideas on it. Uh,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see like if it just is sort of like a medley type thing that kind of different sections flow into one another for 44 minutes. I mean, he's definitely not a stranger to like writing long songs or anything, but
Yeah, I have to imagine that it won't be like that because I don't know. I just feel like Phil as an artist wouldn't really care so much about specifically keeping a melody a medley, sorry, to one song, I guess,
yeah.
or I don't like.
Well, because then it's like, what's the point of calling it one song
Yeah,
if it's actually
almost.
just,
Yeah, because a medley isn't really one song. It's a bunch
right,
of songs, and almost the act of like positing that as one song almost is like kind of pretentious in a way that I feel like
right.
Phil isn't.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I'm not saying it isn't possible. It is possible, but I feel like this is going to be more of a cohesive unit. But it's
Yeah.
just hard to imagine what that'll look like because I mean I've never heard a 40-minute song.
Well, right. That's the thing is it's just so
Yeah.
hard to conceptualize like what that even like means. I mean, you have like the like Tom York 16-hour song or whatever, but that's just kind of like
Blips.
like off the top of the head, yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of stream of consciousness. Whereas this seems like it's an actual album that he took a good amount of time to like write and record. So
The Flaming Lips did that 24-hour long album once. Which
I've not heard
I don't
any of
know.
that. So.
I don't know if that ever saw a wider release. They did release it as like a compilation of the best parts of it. That was like normal album sized.
Okay,
That
yeah,
I have listened to, but
because that scene, I mean, that process, I feel like is probably just all right. Let's like jam out for 24 hours
yeah,
and
I can't even imagine sitting down and doing a full listen of a 24-hour long song.
no, yeah, no
That
way. I
just seems
mean,
punishing, honestly.
it would not be fun or enjoyable. And
Yeah.
like they probably didn't even like they definitely did not even record it that way. It's
Oh
probably in
yeah.
those instances is like they record it like chunks at a time and then just kind of like toss everything together. Uh,
Are you familiar with the national thing A Lot of Sorrow where they just played their song Sorrow over and over again for like 6 hours or something?
I'm now. Is this like at a show?
Yeah, well so it was this collaboration with this This artist. I do not remember his name. I don't really. uh, I think it might be like Kjartan Sveissen. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry. But I think he's like Swedish or I don't know. Anyway, he made Scandinavian Pain. That's all I know about him. And they did this performance at Mass Mocha where they just played the song over and over and over again for like 6+ hours. And yeah, I don't know. I, I
That's like
just I just wanted to bring it up. It just felt pertinent somehow.
that reminds me, didn't like Bradford Cox cover like My Sharona for an hour at a concert or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, that was a whole fiasco. It in a way that felt like a simultaneously like a protest and a tantrum. You know?
I don't know any of the context behind that other than that it
Literally
just happened.
there was this guy at the show who kept requesting My Sharona over and over and over again, and eventually he stopped the show and just played My Sharona for, you know, the duration of the rest of the concert. Um got very like aggressive also.
Huh.
Anyway, we we are here to talk about other things.
Yes. So, have you actually read the thing he tweeted? It's similar to like, I mean, the last couple times he's released albums, he's usually released it with like a sort of note type of thing, just talking a little more about the context.
Yeah,
Um,
I have not read the tweets yet.
is it
I
all right if
mean,
I read like a paragraph from that I think
yeah, go
is,
ahead. I'd love to hear that. I was kind of disappointed that he didn't say more on his website.
yeah. So, yeah, I'll just kind of read starting from like the last paragraph. It says, in the summer of 2019, I played a little local concert under the old name for no big reason. The little flurry of weird attention around this announcement got me thinking about what it even means to step back into an old mode. Self commemoration would be embarrassing. I don't want to go backwards ever. There's nothing to reunite. So I nudged into the future with these ideas and came up with this large song. It took almost a year to write and record, working constantly at home, digging through the archives, playing the same two chords forever on the same $5 first guitar. In it, I have tried to get at the heart of what defined that time in my life, my late teens and early 20s, but even more importantly, I tried to break the spell of nostalgia and make something perennial and enduring. All past selves existing at once in this inferno present moment. This song doesn't seem to end. That's the point. We all crash through life prodded and diverted by our memories. There is a way through to disentanglement. Burn your old notebooks and jump through the smoke. Use the ashes to make a new thing. Phil Elverum,
Hmm.
May 20th, 2020. So,
That's really cool.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
totally know what else to say about it.
yeah,
That's
that's
really
pretty
interesting, and I'm very intrigued.
pretty succinct. Yeah, and even in there, it's I guess he does sort of touch a little more specifically than I thought about why uh, you know, he's doing it, or at least like where the idea came from. Like that show that you were mentioning earlier seemed to be like a sort of catalyst.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. So it took almost a year to write and record. So this is definitely, I think that would make this probably predate Lost Wisdom 2, or like the.
yeah. I I can go get the LP.
Oh yeah, it probably
I could find
says.
out. Yeah, I will. I will now carry this podcast into my living room. Um, but yeah, I think that does put this at, starting after that show, which I guess, yeah, no, he literally said that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like sort of a like a nostalgia thing. Um, it
But
I'll be it,
also
and it'll be.
rejecting that.
Well, right. Like it'll be interesting to hear his like perspective on those things as an adult person instead of early 20s person.
Yeah. It does not predate Lost Wisdom.
It does not. Okay.
It literally like right after though.
Okay. Okay.
Like about a month.
I
That's
mean,
just where he went after getting that all out.
I mean, I will say that I appreciate his kind of like newfound release schedule. Yeah, I think it's been
An album a
every year
year.
for like 5 years now.
Yeah, since 2017.
He's like slowly just changing into Mark Kozelek. And pretty soon they will merge, and who knows what will happen then.
God, that'd be a monstrous combo. I don't even know if I mean that in a good way. Uh,
Just like two like 50-year-old men like yelling at each other.
we must prevent the God, I don't even know what to call it. Mark Kozelek and Phil Elverum must not merge.
We must keep them separate.
The universe could not bear the weight of this combination.
This is
Well,
like really dumb, but have you ever seen the movie Hancock starring Will Smith?
I have seen the movie Hancock starring Will Smith.
It's like when he can't get like too close to Charlize Theron, or like they both lose their powers. That's what will happen with Mark Kozelek and Phil Elverum if they get too close to
That's
each
good
other.
shit. Yeah. I don't even know, like, do you think Mark Kozelek is aware of Phil Elverum?
My gut instinct is to say yes.
My
I
gut
feel like
instinct is no. Or I don't know, I just can't help but feel like the cause would really care about but I don't
yeah,
know. Maybe
I don't
I'm
know.
wrong.
Maybe he's not like an active fan.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like aware. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
he's not even aware that. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Phil said a couple times during like some of his last couple albums that he was taking influence from Mark
Yeah.
Kozelek,
No,
and those
Phil.
albums were pretty like popular, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he has expressed very directly that Mark Kozelek was an influence on this recent kind of phase of his career.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I have too much else to say about
Yeah.
this, but other than that, I'm really curious and intrigued and excited, and I have already ordered a copy.
Yeah. Pretty much echo that. There's really not that much more to say in general. There's like basically no information about it
Yeah.
other than like the press release, which happened like 2 hours ago. So can pretty much only speculate for now, but it is you know an exciting thing nonetheless.
The cover art is fucking phenomenal.
Beautiful cover art. Yeah, I don't think we talked about this while
Yeah.
recording. But yeah, great, excellent cover art. I mean, he always nails it out of the park. But
We've been talking about actually like album artwork in the podcast chat lately. No one brought up Phil, and Phil has I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know if I could name one album artwork for a microphones or Mount Erie album that I don't like.
they're all cool. They're all like made directly by him. I think he's mentioned before that like that's an important part of the like piece of art as a whole.
Yeah.
Like that's part of it. And I
Yeah.
kind of like that attitude towards album art because I think I mean, not like album art affects how an album sounds in any meaningful way, but like a good album art is awesome. Like it's just
It's
way
just
funner than bad album art.
Yeah. It's just struck me that this will mean that Mount Erie will no longer be the last Microphones album, which is
Yeah,
I don't know, just weird to me. Just I feel like there's and he talks about it in the piece on the cover, like literally the weird kind of false divide between the Microphones and Mount Erie, like, but I don't know, it was so clean before, how
yeah.
his last album was Mount Erie, and then he, started releasing music under the name Mount Erie, and now it's mucked up, and based off of the piece, that is somewhat the intention here.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, because like you just said, he has, I feel like, expressed a sort of, I guess, annoyance at like people always asking him like what the point of the name change is. So maybe the purpose is, yeah, to just like muddy those waters because it
Yeah.
doesn't actually like have a meaningful difference. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't help but wonder if he'll get even more questions about it now.
Yeah, true, true. Maybe
Now
this is
that
just gonna
both have
backfire.
like kind of existed concurrently. But
Right.
it does raise a question for me, like what what's next, I guess. You know, where I I mean
Yeah.
I hope this isn't his last release. You know, I doubt this would be. I don't it doesn't seem like that's his intention or anything. But like I guess just does he start releasing microphone
Yeah, like is
songs?
this gonna
Does he
be
return to Mount
like is he
Erie
just
or
like the microphones now again?
yeah. Or
Or
maybe is there
it's like
gonna
a
be
one time
a new moniker?
yeah, the ultimate third phase is on the horizon.
This isn't even his final form. Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of questions, not a lot of answers, but it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
This is
Yeah, and
definitely an interesting thing that seems to be happening.
we'll have the answers for you all when they're available.
You know, in August, I
I'm
guess.
sure we'll do a microphones in 2020 episode.
Yeah. Um yeah, I wonder how we're gonna do that because I doubt we will be caught up by the time that uh this album releases. Although
No, yeah, maybe we can just do it out of order.
Maddie said in the chat, now you know what your deadline is. um, which sorry, Maddie, that's not gonna happen. um,
Yeah, I mean, I think this one we can put it in like kind of out of order and I don't know. We'll
yeah,
figure it out.
we'll see when it comes to it what we want to do.
Yeah, do we want to make any like tentative statements regarding the like coming episodes?
You know,
Like,
we could do a first impressions cast when it releases, and
yeah,
then you know just talk about the album again later.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I
That's a good
think
call.
that'd be really interesting to just do, you know, listen to it once and then talk about it and then reflect on it later. Um anyway, the people don't need to hear us talking about this. Uh thank you for listening. Um
Yes,
you know, go out and do stuff. Except
that's
don't
right.
go protest
Yes.
or just do what you can. I don't know. If you can't protest, just educate yourself and
Educate, donate.
make donations and sign petitions and help organize and just we all just gotta do what we can and I don't know. To me, the biggest thing right now is that as many as possible educate themselves and understand these issues in a real and deep way because they're gonna pop up even after we like fix them, quote
Hmm.
unquote. You know, there's gonna be a new form and you know, the more people who understand and don't just like forget about this after this period of unrest, the easier it'll be for us to, you know, face racism in whatever form it takes next.
Yeah, this stuff is hopefully just the beginning of that.
Yeah. And I think that is, you know, with our generation and you know, I guess the millennials and Gen Z folk, you know, the Zoomers, I think we're in general a little bit more politically conscious and aware and caring, I guess, or it feels that way. And it feels like it'll be easier to keep the fight going after this. I know I remember I was really kind of focused on this stuff in like 2015, 2014, 2016 when like, the first Black Lives Matter protests were happening. And then I just let myself forget. And that's a huge part of the problem. And we gotta not do that again. Anyway, that's my spiel. uh, I hope everyone is relatively okay right now.
Yeah.
And Godspeed.